Hey everyone, Ryan coming to you here Sunday night. Haven't been on for a live Wisdom from the Recliner here for a little while, so finally got a little bit of downtime here. Just got the two littles, Atlanta and Arthur, to bed, and for those of you following our journey, you probably know our oldest son, Addison's in Spain, so anyway, and just been making some notes from some thoughts that I've been accumulating over the week and days since the last time I got on here. And I've actually got quite a bit to share tonight, and I'm looking forward to it. So hopefully you've enjoyed your weekend, and hopefully you're having a great week, and looking forward to life coming up, starting again tomorrow as we move into the work week and all that each of us and our families have going on. So it's good to see y'all. I got my vegan shirt on, my pink vegan shirt. It's pretty funny. It's cool. And it was a good opportunity to wear it tonight because Caroline and I got invited over to some new friends of ours that we've met along this journey here in Tulsa. And she's a raw vegan chef. Not full-time. She has a full-time career. But anyway, she invited us over, and she prepared a raw vegan meal, her raw vegan lasagna, and some type of raw vegan dessert, and some type of raw vegan drink, and whew, man, it was all very tasty. The flavors were just exploding actually in my mouth tonight, and just great conversation, and enjoyed their company, and they invited us into their home, and so we are grateful. Had a kind of a rainy rainy afternoon here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and got plenty of downtime. Caroline had to do some grocery shopping and run some errands this afternoon, so I was able to physically get out and jump on the trampoline a little bit with our two little ones, and we did some earthing together and made a little fun game, walking around and kind of running around on the grass out there, so in the backyard, and that was a lot of fun. And anyway, just excited to share with you guys tonight. So hopefully people are jumping on and we're getting settled in. So I kind of made me a list over here. You can see I wrote some things down, but I hashtagged tonight, take your own advice. And if you're just joining in, this is my series that I do called Wisdom from the Recliner. I'm sitting in that recliner right now here in my master bedroom in our house. For those of you that have been on this journey with me for a long time, from my diagnosis just 1 year ago of stage 4 lymphoma to, well, you can see with your own eyes kind of the results of taking an alternative route, no chemo, no radiation, no surgery, eating a very high fruit diet, mainly raw vegan, still some cooked vegan food, and just living in grace and having lots of love and support, and just believing that the body was made to heal, believing that the body wants to heal, and believing the body can heal. Healing and treating symptoms are two different things. They're distinctly different. And even if at times we do have to treat symptoms, or even if there's a situation where someone has maybe done some conventional or traditional treatments or things prior to maybe coming into the knowledge of how healing works and all that, healing still needs to occur after that, or even for those that may have had surgery, healing still has to occur there as well. So anyway, guys, take your own advice. Some of you may have seen the post that I shared a few days ago. Caroline and I are going to have to transition in some of the ways that we connect and interact with everyone on Facebook. There's 10,000 plus of you, and there's 2 of us. And I'm still healing and still very focused on my health. And then my dad lives with us during the week, Monday through Friday. And we're helping him the best we can to heal. And so our plates are just full with raising children and keeping up with me and him. And so we so desire to respond to everyone. We really do. We love connecting with people one-on-one. It's very satisfying and gratifying to share anything we can that might be beneficial to other people, but we just physically can't keep up with it. So we're thinking about how can we still get the information out there and make it available for those that want to, basically get the information that that we have learned along this journey. It's not us saying that we've got all the answers by any means. It's not us saying that we've got it all figured out. Not at all. We are simply just documenting and sharing our journey as we go along. And if it resonates, if you feel like it can be something that benefits you, then by all means, we would just be thrilled if something that we've learned or something that we shared could save someone from pain or suffering or heartache or, oh gosh, we wouldn't wish our journey on anyone. Although I think it would be really neat if everyone could get the perspective that can come from going through this. So anyway, I put a post out recently just saying that, if we don't respond to you individually, and maybe you've been used to us doing that, just understand we're in a transition. But I also put together all kinds of information, links on just about everything we get asked about as much as possible. And then we're going to have a week out in California here in about a week and a half. I've been asked to be the keynote speaker or one of them on opening night at this huge event. And we're going to basically unplug from our smartphones and social media and just take time for Caroline and I and actually rest and just enjoy each other and the time out there in Palm Desert. And of course, I'm going to get to share some of my story. It's a pretty big honor and a very special thing. And we're going to be in Palm Desert, right outside or right there in Palm Springs, California. Not this week, but all of the next week. And so Caroline will be able to write several of these blogs that she's been wanting to write about. And a lot of the blogs come from a lot of the same questions we get over and over and over again, where we can hopefully detail a lot of information out so that the mass amount of people that seem to be interested and want to know can easily get their hands on that and then share it with other people. And the other thing is this week, we're going to really focus in on getting all the final things done for the conference that we just did. We've got the edited version now. It is phenomenal. And anyway, it is it's so good, man. It's such rich content. It was such a good night. And now that it's been all professionally edited, it's real easy to watch. I think people are going to really be blessed by it. Anyway, it's going to be available by this Saturday, October the 1st. You can either go to healwithryan.com or wisdomfromtherecliner.com. And we're going to make that available to everyone across the world. It's going to be good. It's about 3 hours worth of content broken up. And it's just some phenomenal stuff. Everything from me talking about how we've overcome our greatest fear, which is a life-changing thing in and of itself. It's got Steve Factor, my health coach, talking about fastest cars first, and also just the way I've been eating now for the last 90 days, and basically Caroline as well, and also how you eat sugar, salt, and fat in abundance, and what that means. So he's got a 45-minute session on there. Then you've got Terry Tillert with some really valuable information about things you're going to want to know in regards to our homes with water and air and sleep. And anyway, it's just going to be something you're going to want to get your hands on, and you're going to want to pass around, and you're going to want to share it. And it's in bite-sized sections, and it's also it covers more than just, Caroline obviously goes in on her section about the grease blood test. She gives some very detailed answer to some very practical things. But I just believe it's going to be stuff that could help all of us heal more in every area, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally. All of us could stand to live in more grace and to truly believe we are loved and to understand our worth and our value. And so anyway, you're just, listen, I tell you right now, if anybody gets it and is not touched in some way, I mean, just message me, and whatever you paid for it, or if you donated or whatever to get it, we'll just send it right back. I mean, honestly, because man, it was a good night, and you can read some of the testimonies from some of the people that attended live. They really touch your heart. I mean, they blessed us. I know that, and so I'm so excited about that coming out. But anyway, so look for that post. I may post the post again from a week or so ago, just so everyone can easily reference it. I may actually do it right after this tonight, and I know a lot of you are commenting. I'm going to just stick to what I want to share this evening, and then I'll go back through all the comments, and I'll do my best to try to answer all those questions before I go to bed tonight, at least the easy ones. So anyway, under the theme of, and kind of the idea tonight of talking about taking our own advice, some of you may have heard me say this. This is really an original thought, although there's no original thoughts. I'm sure it's a combination of hearing different things from different people, so I'm sure all the wonderful people in my life deserve credit, but maybe the way I've worded it is original. But I've been saying now for a while, if our example is not powerful enough to inspire change in others, then our words will surely fall short. And so thinking about that, taking our own advice just simply means when we have great thoughts, instead of being so anxious to try to get someone else to live that out, why don't we just focus on living it out ourselves and letting the power of our example be the inspiration to other people, and bite our tongues a little bit more often and keep our commentary to ourselves. Because again, if our example is not powerful enough to inspire others to change, then our words will surely fall short. So I've been thinking about an event that happened to me a few days ago, and how we embrace this, how we respond to this, and I called it the messiness of life. So I'm backing out of our garage. We have a 3-car garage, and it's like a 2-car and then a single car, and I park in the single car. And my in-laws were here. They are such a blessing, and they help us out so much, and they were here helping us clean the house this last Thursday. And I have, in my vehicle, it has one of those little backup cameras in the rearview mirror, plus I've got the rearview mirror. But I was just kind of distracted in my mind. I had been on my phone. Of course, I'm always thinking about a lot of things. And so I didn't do a good job of really focusing in and pay attention. Anyway, long story short, I ended up backing into their car and scuffed up, my vehicle, which is about it's a paid-for vehicle. It's like 5 years old, and it doesn't bother me. It didn't do any real major damage or nothing, just scraped up the fender and stuff. But it did dent and scrape up and mess up the back of my mother-in-law's, nicer, newer car, And of course, you have that instant moment of just frustration, and it's so irritating. And basically the bottom line boils down to is that the cost to fix it, to just, basically pay cash, if you will, is very close to the same amount as if I had to pay my deductible. So it's better to not funnel it through the insurance, because obviously if I funnel it through the insurance, I'm going to end up having about the same out-of-pocket cost, but I'm also going to see an increase in my insurance premium for having a claim on there, and for it being my fault and all that. So, I'm just thinking, my God, I would have rather went out in my backyard and burned the money and at least had fun, burning money than I would, dadgum, having to pay to fix this just because I wasn't paying attention, And so, I'm sure these types of things happen to all of us. Like, when is there ever a good time for you to just have to fork over money that you didn't plan on or feel like you ought to or have to or need to have to pay for something, but because of a mistake. And so then, I get bombarded with, well, maybe if you weren't trying to do so much, or maybe if you would slow down in life, or maybe if you would do this, or maybe if you would do that, right? But I've spent enough time studying human beings and psychology and thinking about those thoughts, like, that doesn't really take me to a good place. That's not a good, healthy way of working through messiness and making mistakes, right? And so at the end of the day, the thing that always helps me is just go, hey, I didn't ask to be put here, and it's obvious that making mistakes, messiness, things out of our control, they happen. And sometimes we do stupid stuff, and it costs us money and it costs us time. And I've got to decide that I'm going to get to a place where I embrace that. And it's not that I'm expecting it to happen all the time, but I'm not shocked when it does. And I've got to be emotionally okay, and I've got to be financially okay. I love what a guy said a long time ago. I remember hearing him, and he said, have margin in your life. And I thought, man, what a time where, it feels like sometimes we don't have a lot of margin right now with, in our finances or in our time or health-wise with all we've been dealing with these last, 12 months. And anyway, it was just like, oh gosh. But I thought, you know what? I'm okay with making mistakes, because sometimes the thing that you think if you had changed that would cause you to not make the mistakes, you're not realizing, though, that if you changed it, you would also be giving up some other great things that come from that same thing. Like I can tend to sometimes go kind of fast, and it can seem like, well, you would have saved this money by not hitting that car if you weren't going fast. But also going fast may at times have been able to get more information out there, and maybe it helps someone be able to see our journey, our story, and maybe then they were able to donate to our cause, and that helped us get, more of those infusions done that helped me heal. I mean, I think it's something that we can never have a safe assumption that when we make a mistake and we're frustrated about the end result, that we assume that if we had automatically changed something, that would meant that we'd be in a better place, like we'd be better off in life. And I think we have to remember that, well, yeah, we might have done something that had helped us avoid this, but we also might have missed out on 3 or 4 or 5 other things that have been a real blessing to us. And so actually we might be in a worse spot. And so the only healthy thing to do is to say, mistakes are a part of planet Earth. I've got to embrace messiness, and I've got to have enough margin, if nothing else, emotionally in my life to where I can be okay, because I'm going to make mistakes no matter what. But I learn from mistakes. They remind me that I'm alive, and it's a chance to practice, having the right kind of attitude. It's a chance for me to respond to things, because I mean, as long as I'm on this planet, things are going to happen that I don't really like. I'm going to make decisions from time to time. I'm going to do stupid stuff. I'm just human, right? So if I can't change that, what am I in control of? Well, I'm in control of how I respond. I'm in control of being okay with it. I'm in control of, the way I'm thinking about it. I'm in control. If I can laugh about it later, then why not laugh about it now? I'm going to be laughing about, how crazy and dumb it was that I was in a hurry and I wasn't thinking and I was focused somewhere else and I'd been playing on my phone and I backed out with a rear view mirror and a rear backup camera and I still hit my mother-in-law's car, right? So if I can laugh about it later, why not just laugh about it now, right? It's just money, it's just money. Yeah, it's just money, Maybe when money doesn't seem like it's more than what it really is, then maybe money won't be such a devastating thing in so many people's lives, right? Just have an open hand. Let money flow in, let money flow out. Be free, my friends. Anyway, so embrace messiness. And I share that often, and so it was an opportunity for me to take my own advice. The second thing is, how many of us hear about something, or hear about someone else, or hear about their story or their journey or what they're doing, and how many times we go, oh, I can't. Oh, I couldn't. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I can't say that. Oh, I can't eat there. Oh, I can't. Yeah. Talk about losing focus. Folks, I am absolutely convinced that the minute any of us start any thought with I can't, I mean, it's just like we shut down the beauty and the realm and the creativity of the magnificence of who we are as human beings. Like we just, no more ideas can flow, no more connections can be made, no more possibilities can be explored. We just live in this downward spiral and really poor place to be in as a human in the world of I just can't. I can't raise money like Ryan. I can't heal from cancer like Ryan. I can't parent like those people. I can't have kids like them. I can't stop smoking. I can't lose weight. I can't have money in my bank account. I can't. I mean, you talk about a dis-ease, because we will have dis-ease going on all throughout our being as long as I can't is a life philosophy. And I know way too many people that I would just love to be, I'd love to see them, and I'd be thrilled if they would reevaluate that and maybe consider thinking differently and realizing the poor and negative impact that believing that they can't before they ever even explore or connect or think about even happens. Folks, I've told this story many a times, but what if I had said, I can't overcome stage 4 cancer. I can't heal from this. Folks, I'd be in the grave. What if I'd said, well, I can't do alternative treatments because, I don't have any money. Well, then I wouldn't have put my story out there on Facebook and had people that I've never met donate thousands and thousands of dollars to help me save my life. What if I'd said, well, I can't be vulnerable. I can't let people see the real and raw, me. I can't tell the truth. What if I'm criticized? What if people disagree? What if people unfriend me? What if someone sends me a horrible, nasty, evil, mean message? Well, then maybe I wouldn't have had all the love and support that I've had either. And maybe I would have, not been able to accomplish the results I've had. Folks, I'm telling you, we could spend hours on this. It's not even about just saying the words. It's what do we really believe in our heart. Okay? Because what does it take to believe that there's a possibility? How is that any more difficult than believing that there's no possibility? Nobody knows for sure what there is, right? So I just want to take my own advice, and I've just been thinking about, has there been any areas where, whether I've said the words or not, even subconsciously, maybe I'm thinking, I can't do that. Oh, I can't do this. Well, we can't do that. Well, we can't. And I'm reevaluating and thinking about some areas where maybe I've still allowed myself to not tap into the creativity and the realm of possibilities that might be available for us in any type of area that we have a dream, or we have a goal, or we have a desire in our hearts for. Who knows? Well, I can't because I don't know anyone. Okay, I can't because I don't know anyone of influence. Well, maybe the people you know people of influence, and maybe they could introduce you. I don't know. I mean, isn't it just cool to think about living in the realm of possibilities, in the realm of transparency and vulnerability, like just putting stuff out to the universe and putting stuff out to God and putting stuff out there, like instead of the what if and thinking about a negative result or fear or some bad, terrible outcome. Well, what if something amazing happened? What if you did raise the money? What if you did heal from stage 1, 2, 3, or 4 cancer? What if you were vulnerable and you found an inner strength and a security and a peace no matter what people's opinions were? What if you did find a way to not have to live in poverty anymore? What if you could change some of your habits? What if you were able to actually eat healthy? What if you actually can lose weight? What if you can accomplish something great? Take your own advice. All right, pick your hard. People say, Ryan, it is so hard to change what you eat and eat healthy. Really? Okay. Get cancer then. Deal with disease. I know. Yeah, like dead silence, right? Like you can hear the birds chirping. Pick your hard. Okay, fair enough, right? Don't consider anything for prevention. I mean, it's an epidemic, folks. I mean, I guess we can just stick our head in the sand. Does eating well and eating healthy food make us bulletproof or guarantee that we won't have disease? No. But boy, there sure is a lot of evidence that increases our chances and our odds. And I said this recently. Look, folks, prevention is easier than healing. So maybe we should stop saying things are hard because of our perspective, reevaluate our perspective, and think about what is more hard. All right? See, folks, choose your hard. And then think about this. What does even admitting, if I admit that something is hard, well, that's not an indication that I should not do it. Like, what is hard anyway? I mean, isn't that subjective? Isn't that just based on a perspective or an opinion of a human being? I mean, one person could think something's really hard and another person could be like, that's not hard at all, right? So just because I even admit that something is hard, that admission is no indication that I should not push through or pursue or do it anyway. So I'm not ever going to be afraid to say something is hard, because I think a lot of people it's like, oh, I don't want to admit it's hard, as if like admitting it's hard now is going to stop me from doing it. No, I believe in being real. I mean, if something is hard in your mind, well, say it's hard and do it anyway, right? Because I'm sure if you don't do that hard, there'll just be some other hard that, will be the consequence of not being willing to do that hard, And I can just tell you, folks, now having, changed what I eat, thinking back at all the times I fought against Caroline when she was encouraging me to do that, man, what a piece of cake that would have been through the hell I've been through these last 12 months and that 8 months of that fluid problem, and oh my God, and stabbed here and jabbed there and poked here and IVs and supplements and pills and nasty concoctions and, I mean, you name it, right? Folks, think, and pick your hard, and then take your own advice. Tough conversations. So Caroline and I went out on a date last night, just me and her, and I'm so glad that I recognize I do spend a lot of time on Facebook. I spend a lot of time on my phone. And I'm so thankful that I can just unplug from that, especially when I recognize that I need to really focus in on my children or time with Caroline, or even just time for myself and disconnect. So I just left my phone at home last night because Caroline had hers, but she can keep it in her purse, and it's on. So if there's an emergency or the babysitter needs to get us, and she just got my undivided attention for 4 straight hours. And if you've ever read the book, The 5 Love Languages, probably if not, her top 2 are acts of service and quality time. And so she got an amazing amount of quality time. And I enjoyed it so much. And we just took our time. We went to a restaurant that has pretty much all vegan options, and just relaxed, and we ate slowly and chewed our food, and there was just no rush. And then we went for a walk downtown after that, and really just enjoyed a very simple, relaxing evening, totally disconnected from, social media and our smartphones and technology. Held hands as we walked. We went to this place called the Center of the Universe here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and you stand on this place, and for whatever reason, when you stand on it and you talk, it just echoes. Well, we stood on it, and there was a bunch of people around, and I just leaned in, and I just kissed Caroline and embraced her, and some young people kind of started cheering for us and thought it was so cool, And I kind of got the impression like they thought, oh, we're probably, newlyweds or some young couple or whatever. Because, look how young I'm looking. Have I like reversed age or what, baby? And I just said, yeah. I said, almost married 17 years. And they cheered even louder. It was a beautiful moment. And, but Caroline said something to me last night. She said, thank you, Ryan, for being willing to bring up the tough conversations. And what she was referencing is we had been communicating a little bit back and forth from time to time here and there on email about needing to visit and discuss some things about money and our finances and all of that. And, in the past, those have been areas that we haven't always seen eye to eye on, and we've had to work through our indifferences. And then, of course, when something like this hits you, man, it hits you in every area, and it definitely hits you hard, when it comes to your money and finances, and then all the things we're trying to do and helping my parents and my dad and all that stuff. And so, I just brought it up, and I said, hey, let's talk about some things, and I didn't want to make any assumptions, and I just want to make sure we're on the same page, and it's so cool. It's so neat because it enriches our relationship. And we have these tough conversations. We don't just ignore things that we may disagree a little bit on. We're not going to just ignore things that have maybe at times create a little bit of stress or tension. And we don't always come into full agreement. But what we do by having these tough conversations is we come into this agreement that I respect you, that I love you, we're doing this together, I value your input, you value mine, and we can compromise when we need to, and we can work together on how we're going to move forward in this area, and a solution that benefits our whole family and works for us. And it meant a lot to me that she would say, hey, I appreciate you having those tough conversations, because I've come to the conclusion, I think I give credit to my brother. I think he was telling me, he said, Ryan, I've come to the conclusion that great marriages are founded upon two people willing to constantly have tough conversations along the way. And it just seems like some people choose to avoid those tough conversations in their relationships, whether it be with their spouse, with their children, with their parents, with their siblings, maybe with close friends. And I think it only damages the relationship. I think it only eventually pushes those people further and further apart. And it doesn't create that intimacy and that deep love for one another like having the tough conversations do. And so it was just another area where I'm like, you know what? take your own advice, right? I mean, I always talk about and share how I think a big part of healing is go there. Go there to these tough things and find healing. Work through them no matter how painful they are. It can't possibly be as painful as trying to shove it under the rug, even more, and just ignoring it like somehow they're going to just magically get better. Wounds don't just heal like that. But they do heal, I think, when we're intentional and we have those tough conversations. And guys, let me tell you something, okay? I've made all kinds of mistakes. I'm an imperfect human just like everyone else. And I've got strengths and weaknesses just like you. But I know my self-worth, and I know my magnificence, and I know who God says I am. And I want that same for you, and I believe the truth in my heart. And so my identity is set, even when I do stupid stuff like back into my mother-in-law's car and cost us, hundreds of dollars that we don't have, that I don't want to spend on, I can still feel great about Ryan, though, because I understand my identity, all right? It's got to be apart from anything we do or don't do. And so, anyway, I want to recommend the 5 Love Languages book. I was sharing it with a friend of mine that was having lunch with me the other day. We were discussing marriage and that relationship, and man, that's been a powerful book for Caroline and I. I still know her top 2 love languages. She knows my top 2. They're different. We've learned to remember how to love each other in their language, and it's made a real difference in our life. And nothing's made a bigger difference, though, than the foundation of grace and losing those expectations we thought God had upon us, and then not having them for ourselves, and then not putting them on each other. But then the practical application of the 5 love languages is just huge. And so if you haven't read the book, or if you have and you've kind of forgotten it, go back, pick it up, review it, grab it on Amazon. It's really, really good. And apply it with grace as much as you can. So anyway, I'm about to wrap up for the evening. And my final thought for the night is how do you see the world? What is your real perspective on yourself as a human being and the human race? Do you believe they're good at the core? Do you believe people are made to want to be kind and nice and helpful and generous? Or do you believe something else? What is your worldview around people and the human race? And you'll have to think about that. Maybe you can, once you get to the answer, if it's not the answer you would like for it to be and the one that'll serve you well, maybe ask yourself, how did you develop that worldview? Why do you maybe think people aren't good? Or why do you think... And I just want to say, first and foremost, if you've been hurt by people, if you've been abused or molested or raped or anything like that, God, man, my heart breaks, and I don't have any words for you because I can't even imagine what that must have been like or how that could warp you or cause you to have a certain viewpoint or perspective. And I have empathy, and I'm not here to tell you that, my worldview is better than yours. That's not what it's about. I just want us to think about this. And I think, wow, how healthy would it be if we all had a worldview and we believed that we were good at the core, okay, in our hearts, and that doesn't mean we always act good, that doesn't mean we always make good choices, that doesn't mean we always treat people well, but that is who we are, and that's who others are. And what if we could recognize that when people are ugly or mean or critical or do things that don't feel good, if we could just recognize that the root of that behavior is actually from self-hatred, and that they're just kind of in a miserable place in their life, maybe then we wouldn't take things personal, and we could still remember that they're good at the core. It's just in that moment they're not believing that. And the answer to helping people turn around their poor decision-making and their poor behavior is not to try to get them to focus on doing it. It's to believe something different about themselves. Because people who love themselves and believe they're loved and are secure in who they are and believe they're good at the core, when they are walking around living in that 24/7 consciousness, then that tends to produce really good, productive behavior that can not only benefit them, but everyone around them. And at the same time, though, we all need to be reminded of that. about ourselves. And so when we forget who we are and we forget the truth and we get an identity, somehow we think we're bad and we're a dirty, rotten person and all we do is sin and all we do is make mistakes and we just need to get our heart cleaned up and all of that stuff, then you know what? We need to ask God or Creator of the universe or higher power, whatever you believe in, to help us hear the truth and be persuaded in our heart that that's not who we are. We all get treated bad by people. We need to understand why that bad treatment is happening. It's not personal, I'm telling you. It's really not about you, the person that's unfortunately on the other end of it. It's really all about them. And, you know, the good book, the Bible, says, love your neighbor as yourself. What's that telling us? We have to love ourselves to even be able to even love our neighbor. So that would mean then hate myself in order to hate my neighbor. Think about it. I've got to hate myself in order to hate you. So when people hate on you, I know it hurts. I'm not suggesting that it's any fun. It stinks. I don't like it either. Your first thought needs to be, wait a second. This is coming from self-hatred. They're at a miserable moment in their mind and their thinking and their heart and their mind and their life right this minute. And unfortunately, they took it out on me, but it's not personal. And it will cause you to have empathy for people and not give you a messed up worldview. People are good at the core. They're kind, they're generous, they're loving. And guys, I'm overwhelmed. I really am. I mean, somebody gave us $100 again tonight. People are just constantly being nice and helping us and doing things and wanting to see what they can contribute so that I can completely heal from what basically was a death sentence, wanting to help so that they can be a part of seeing my dad possibly do the same. And that just touches my heart, touches my life. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed tonight. Wisdom from the Recliner, Volume 26. Take your own advice. I'll go back and answer questions when I get a chance this evening or over the next couple of days, because I know a lot of you have been posting those questions. I'm going to repost the post that has all the info that so many of you want to have access to. Be looking for the video. It's going to be available this Saturday, October the 1st. And the last question I have for you is, will you be one of the 1,000 to help my dad and I? If you will, go to youcaring.com/father-son cancer. I love you all. Have a great night. It's always a pleasure to get on here with you guys. All right? Thanks so much. Bye-bye.